Step right up, folks! Your dream come true! Give a wedgie just 25 cents!
Wedgies?
You already know what it is, community. Happy Wedgie Wednesday. I'm your lovely host, Joctavius, and we are back again with another video. Y'all, we are officially in the month of May. As we approach the summer and everybody's taking their vacations and everybody's getting out of school, you know what that means. More wedgies! Now, most of you are hard-headed because I'm sure you didn't even watch my last video on proper meetup etiquette, which I have linked down in the bio for your own convenience. Most of you watching this video, I'm sure, are preparing for your summer meetups. For some of us, this will be our first ever meetup, and for others of us, this will be like another Wednesday for us. But whoever that you are, the biggest goal is always to have a good meetup. And what makes a great meetup? Great wedgies. You see, as your wedgie godfather, it is my job to educate the subs on who to bow down to and pledge their wedgie allegiance to, but also to educate the doms on how to properly secure that wedgie allegiance. You see, your subs should think that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread. You don't have to ask them to bow down because they voluntarily do it. Your job is to leave a lasting impression that goes deeper than any wedgie given. And the reason I speak like this is because I speak from experience. To give some background, I started off way young giving wedgies at the age of 4. Started interacting with the community in the late 2000s. Had my first meetup when I was 15. Officially started my wedgie career in about late 2019. I say all this to say that I've seen it all when it came to a mediocre, not so much wedgie, to a, oh my god, this is an amazing, looks like out the movies type of wedgie. And more importantly, how to re-emulate this and bring those type of dreams and fantasies to life. Now, if you don't believe me, don't hesitate to go check my social media or my OF. But there's a reason why usually when people meet with me, they always want a round 2 or round 3. So without further ado, let me share with you my tips on how to give better wedgies during your meetups. Number 1, off-guard wedgies. This probably may not happen until you and your sub gets more comfortable, but it's basically when you wedgie them while they're not paying attention. Keep in mind this does require permission, but 100% every single sub has told me that the best wedgies they've received are the ones they didn't expect. It's something about the human body knowing what's about to happen versus when it's not knowing what's about to happen. It's kind of like they get, that real effect of what a wedgie is. Obviously, they can still achieve that without this, right? This is what gives them that quote-unquote real experience that they see on YouTube and other people. Most subs live vicariously through other people, and ultimately, they want that to be them. So if you can give that experience, and again, with permission, I'm sure your subs will love you forever. As a former football player and athlete, I'm always going to say this: use your legs. I've seen the smallest dudes lift up the biggest dudes, and I've seen the biggest dudes not be able to lift up anybody because you're not using your legs. From a biological standpoint, there are more muscles in your legs than there are in your arms. And your leg has to literally keep your body weight up when you're walking around and doing things. So to do this, what I would recommend is you do like a little mini squat. When you're latching onto their underwear while you're in that squat, I want you to make sure that you are exploding back up from the ground through your feet. If this doesn't make sense, I'll try to make a tutorial in the future, so stay tuned. But in my opinion, what makes a wedgie so much powerful is the momentum that you put into it. That's what helps to give the arms a little bit more power when you're muscling it up. So piggybacking off of my last tip, as we all know, wedgies require a little bit of physicality. If you truly are the dom that you claim you are, why not challenge them to a wedgie fight? I've done this so many times during meetups, and I can safely say no matter how big my sub was, I've always won the fight. Sometimes I even let my subs get me back just to be out of fairness, But wedgie fighting or wrestling is one of the most ultimate ways to prove your dominance over your sub. My WWE fans, you know where I'm going with this. In wrestling, once a guy gets like a wedgie from his opponent, he is humiliated in front of the crowd, he is dominated, and ultimately, you know who's the victor. All I'm gonna say is, unless it's undies, please try not to get hurt during the process. The only rip I want to see is underwear, not people. I don't know what's up with you silent movie lovers, but please be verbal. It's literally one of the key points of the entire interaction. A lot of you are growing up on television and movies, right? Has a bully ever walked up to a nerd and completely just decimated his entire underwear without saying a word? No, he usually starts it off with a little bit of shit talking. What time is it today? What's up, wedgie boy? Still wearing those tidy whities I see. The wedgie in my opinion does not set the tone, but it's really the lead up to it. Think of this like going out on a dinner date. The glass of wine is the words that you say to them to set the mood. The appetizer is you teasing them, flickering their waistband, lifting up their shirt to see what underwear they're wearing. All of this leads up to the final entree, which is the official wedgie. It doesn't matter how great wedgies you give, if there's somebody who's a little more verbal than you, they're probably going to get more of a rise out of your sub than you would. Because the art of verbalization is really the mental play on the mind. So if you can mind wedgie somebody before you actually give them one, I promise you, your sub is not going anywhere. Now I know Kendrick and Drake are currently in a beef right now, but Drake had a point when he said, you gotta hit them angles. This is something that you'll have to learn over time. But pretty much, it's a small detail that makes the wedgie just hit a little bit different. To practice this, make your sub lie down on the ground, and then what I want you to do is just stretch your sub's underwear straight up to the sky, just straight up. Do this while standing above them, mind you. After holding that for a few seconds, I want you to start to lean back and pull backwards. After holding that for a few seconds, I want you to sit down on your sub and start to pull straight backwards. Once you hold that for a few seconds, I want you to let go and then ask your sub which one do they like the most out of the three. From there, you can modify it and do more variations like making them walk around in a bear crawl. I could really spend a lot of time teaching y'all about them angles, but I ain't finna hold y'all up with all that. But the biggest point of this tip is asking them how does that make them feel? And then remember that in the future so that you can continue to replicate that feeling for your sub. So I already know most of you are bully and nerd mongers. So I already know y'all gonna love this tip. Sometimes you gotta add in some of that bully culture. Adding in those non-wedgie elements from noogies to swirlies to purple nurples, whatever that you like to do. Again, with permission. I love giving my subs noogies just to make them feel like the nerds that they truly are. But this I will advise to make sure that you understand if your sub is either into pleasure or pain. But in case you don't know or not sure, I'll link my video in the bio down below. But lastly, I'm gonna give you my go-to tip that has always proved my dominance in every single meetup. Ripping the sub's underwear is the ultimate way of proving your dominance to your sub. I see a lot of dudes try to attempt this and do it very, very recklessly, causing a whole lot more pain than necessary to the sub. What if I told you one of my hidden talents and superpower with the wedgies is that I know how to give a painless ripping wedgie? Yes, you heard me. A painless ripping wedgie is going to make all your subs keep running back for more. You see, ripping the sub's underwear should not be the ultimate go-to. That is the dessert that comes after the lovely entree or wedgies that you have just given. Sometimes, hey, you may want a quick dessert or basically a quick, clean rip. But do you really want to know what the subs tell me because you know they talk to me? You know they tell me everything. The subs love a long ripping wedgie. They love when they start to hear their underwear tear and they don't know when it's going to finally rip off, but they keep feeling the wedgie. They love hearing the little rips here and there every couple of seconds. They love not knowing when this is all going to end. See, going back to my earlier point, you have to take your sub on a mental wedgie journey. And how I do this is after a long wedgie session, I actually give my sub the choice and say, do you want me to rip it? When do you want me to rip it? And when they finally say yes, I wrap my fingers around their leg holes. For my baby wedgie doms, I recommend you starting off on one side and not both. With your hands, you want them to be a little bit far away from the wedgie itself, if that makes sense. You want to be closer to the side area, as if you were trying to give them a side wedgie. When you yank up, the focus should not be on you pulling all of the underwear with the waistband included, but more so on the leg hole. See, the leg hole is the stiffest part of the underwear. So in reality, it really doesn't take that much to rip them, depending on the fabric and stuff. How you want your hands to kind of be is you kind of want your palms to be right under the leg hole, so when you're lifting up, all your force is going straight into that instead of just the entire underwear. If that doesn't make sense, I'll try to do a tutorial on that too. Just please let me know in the comments and I'll try to make that. But if you grab the leg holes and the waistband, what's going to happen is you're just going to give them a thong. I mean, you might still be successful and give them the ripping, but I'm trying to make this as easy for you as possible. From there, if you were successful in finally putting a tear into their undies, this is like Mortal Kombat, man. You choose how you want to finish them. You can do it on the other side and play and see how long it takes to rip it all off. You can go back to giving them wedgies with their now ripped underwear, make fun of them. You can go for the jugular and give them a clean rip. It's up to you on how you want to do it, man. It's your world. As we close out this video, I do want to give some last little tips. Doms, let's keep it real. When it comes to these meetups, we're doing 99.9999% of the work. You have to make sure that you have stamina. Go take walks, go swimming, go do a gym membership. But I'm gonna tell you what the subs ain't gonna tell you. They like a man that don't get tired 30 seconds into a meetup. I'm just gonna say it. And don't take that personal, because at the end of the day, beautiful thing about life is that we can always make changes to it. Case in point, I need to stretch more. I did a meetup one time and I literally pulled my back. Not even joking. That was the most embarrassing moment of my life. Make sure that you stretch a little bit before you go into these meetups. Unless you want to look like me, looking like a car broke down on the side of the road. It's your choice. That's pretty much it, man. I ain't got that much else to give. If there are any doms that have their own tips, please drop them in the comments down below. If there are any subs that want to share more of what they want out of a meetup, please drop them in the comments down below. But as always, I appreciate you all for watching my video. Please tune into our social media. Make sure that you're up to date with all of our events and updates, blah, 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 blah. And let me know if there's any more other videos that you want to see me make. Y'all stay wedgied. I'm going to see you in the next video. Y'all take care.